you guys will be having an exhibition coming very soon in Dubai. So
Yes.
why would students from Dubai or Saudi want to go to a boarding school in the UK?
So a lot of people may have heard about boarding, they've thought about boarding, maybe their children have come home and said one of their friends is going to boarding school. So the UK boarding school exhibition that we are arranging on the 14th of February at the Grosvenor House Hotel in Dubai, and then 2 other venues in Saudi Arabia, is a great starting point for a family that's just inquisitive, would like to ask some questions, would like to find out more about it. There's no commitment to anything. So I think that's what's really special about visiting the exhibition. There may be families that have actually already decided, definitely for GCSEs, we want our child to go to boarding school. So it's an opportunity to talk to over 20 schools, a variety of schools, girls only, boys only, independent colleges, and locations across the UK, so from the southwest to Scotland.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very new and special episode today on GNTALKS. I have a very special guest. It is actually our first episode where we actually go completely remotely with my client based in the UK. But before we start our episode, let's begin by Sarah. How are you today?
I'm very well, and thank you for inviting us on to GN Talks.
Of course, you're always welcome.
Anderson Education was founded in September 1999, so 26 years ago, by Sue Anderson, who is my mother. She was an expat wife and with 4 children, and 3 of the children were all born in Yemen, and we all went to boarding school. So she really understood the challenges for families in trying to find the right school for their child when they were living thousands of miles away. And she understood, the pressures of, so this is why she set up the business in 1999. And in that time, we have grown and developed. We're now a team of 12. We produce a directory. We have events, exhibitions. We've got some coming up in Dubai and in Saudi Arabia. Really, so to help families, the opportunity of bringing schools to them so that they can come and talk to schools and get their questions answers and find out more about it. But it's a very personal service to each family, and it's free. We are here to find the right school for your child, and we're here to help you through that process, recommending schools, arranging school visits, arranging entrance tests, really holding your hand as much as you want every step of the way. But by bringing the schools to you, it's the first step in finding out a little bit more for yourselves.
That's really interesting to know. But the question that's probably just wandering around people's thoughts is, why do families consider the option of a UK boarding school? What's it like? What is it exactly do they ask for?
Well, the reasons that families choose the option of a UK boarding school haven't really changed in the 26 years that we've been working in the Gulf. It's stability of education. If the family is likely to be moving while the children are doing a 2-year GCSE A-level or IB program, that's going to be really impact on their future education and maybe success academically. So stability of education is key. It's also a stepping stone to university to get children out of the bubble of a small Gulf country and get back to the UK to do 2 years in the 6th form, where they increase in independence and confidence, learn to live a bit more, look after themselves a little bit more, but still in a very safe environment. It's also, if they are very talented in music, performing arts or sport, they can really get those those talents channels so that they reach their potential. Often it is for learning or language support, which the breadth and depth in the UK is done extremely well. And also, the UK and the British curriculum is renowned worldwide for a gold standard of education.
The question that I would like to ask you is, what is the difference between a boarding school and a local school? So I feel like this is the question that most parents want to ask before potentially having their kids in boarding school. What is the main difference between both?
Well, I think the difference is that we have identified, and that is through working in the region for so long, seeing all the new schools that are being opened, getting feedback from families, is that the schools in the UK offer smaller class sizes, a longer school day. A lot of the facilities for extracurricular activities are all on the school site. So it's less impact on the parents that after the school day, they can be taking part in tennis or football or performing arts, all on one campus. It's a very structured way of life. So children that are boarders know what time they've got to get up in the morning, what's expected of them. After the end of the school day, they can have a snack and a bit of downtime. Then there may be activities. Then there is supervised homework, which is called prep. So that structured way of life really does suit a lot of children. The facilities that are available evenings and weekends. So in the UK, the evenings are light until 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. So the children, if they've got a passion for tennis, the court is there. They're going to be down there batting a ball around with their friends. We had a family recently who are long-term, 12 years expats in the UAE with 3 children, and were pleased. A very good education they were getting there. But they recently went back to visit some schools in the UK because they are relocating. And the feedback that they actually gave us were the level of discipline and manners and respect. That really was highlighted to them. Also, the genuine sense of community and belonging and being part of that tight-knit community where somebody may be teaching you, your maths teacher, but if you're playing rugby, equally they're supporting you on the side of the rugby pitch. And then they may be your academic tutor that's overseeing the prep time. And also for language and learning support, they're considering it's different than the UAE schools or local schools.
What is boarding school really looking like for the students? How often do they get the chance to go home to see their parents? And have you faced any challenges in terms of kids missing their families or families wanting to be, not that distant from their kids? So if you could share with us like the brief of, let's say, a day-to-day life and the students.
This is often a starting point when I'm talking with a family, because quite often nowadays the drive for going to boarding school is led by the children, because they're seeing things online, they're talking to friends. So we may meet with a family and it's actually the parents that are more apprehensive. So I always start by saying they're going to start school in early September. They're away for 6 weeks and then they get a 2-week half term. And then they go back, and after another 6 weeks, they're home for the winter break. So it really is like 6-week chunks. During that time, there may be expat weekends. They wouldn't fly back to the Gulf for just an expat weekend. Sometimes the parents fly to the UK and take them out of school for it. So, and that first half term is a real telltale. So many families say to us that after 6 weeks away, because it's such a 24/7 full-on lifestyle, the children are relieved to get home, to have some family time, but the parents haven't got to be nagging about homework or running them to this club or that club. So families feed back to us, it's short chunks of 6 weeks, but the family time is really enhanced, and they all enjoy it.
That's so interesting, because I also was in a school that had a boarding school as well. And we do have a lot of stereotypes that, students will not be happy being away from their family, but actually they do learn a lot of, I feel like, responsibility, of being independent, of also preparing them for the future life, which is the career life where they will be away from their families. It's kind of like a step ahead into the future.
Yes.
Have you been in boarding school as well, growing
Yes,
up?
I was in boarding school from the age of 14, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm still in touch now with a group of friends. 10 of us met in London and went for lunch and went to a museum. We've been away for big birthdays to celebrate. So you get really close to those people because you're living with them 24/7. Yeah. I had a really positive experience. I loved it. My younger daughter, went to boarding school as well. She just did the last 2 years, and within the first term, she said, "Oh, I really wish that I'd started earlier." Yeah,
Wow.
great way of life. It's a lot of
Good.
fun. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I wanted to ask you, was there any special story perhaps that touched your heart with one of the students' experience within the boarding school?
We do get a lot of really positive feedback. I mean, I think stepping back from that, one of the things to take in mind is that we're offering a free service and we visited 350 schools. So we're helping the family. The important thing is about getting the right match, getting the child into the right school so that they're happy. If they're happy, they're going to do well, both academically, and if they're happy and enjoying it, they'll reach their academic potential and they'll make the most of the so many other opportunities that are available to them. So yeah, children that are lacking in confidence, not enjoying lessons, and then when the families write to us after a year and say they've absolutely blossomed, they've bloomed, he's a different child, that is really, really rewarding. We do get some very positive feedback.
Interesting.
Yes.
I want to ask you, let's speak about student talents, and specifically in the sports. And we do know that sports is very important, especially abroad, specifically in the UK itself. So, how do you support the students that are actually very passionate and talented in the sports field?
Well, again, we would part of our process is talking with the families, with the student, and finding out what sort of level they've attained at the moment and what they're looking for. So, sport is at the heart of most UK boarding schools. Facilities are excellent, and the provision is really good. So, if they're a very good sports player, they would go to a school that is strong in that sport. But the next level up would be to go to join an academy. So there are academies for tennis, football, cricket, rugby. And a part of that program is that they are getting specialist coaching and training with professional sports people. They're getting guidance on nutrition and food and health matters. They're playing competitive matches. The facilities are excellent. As I say, if they've got that passion, they can be doing it at the swimming pool at 6 o'clock in the morning and at 6 o'clock at night. But they're getting all of that alongside an excellent academic education.
So basically, the boarding school is based in the UK, and
Yes.
you guys will be having an exhibition coming very soon in Dubai. So
Yes.
why would students from Dubai or Saudi want to go to a boarding school in the UK? Even though I support it, but I want to also be the devil's mind and ask this question to you.
Yeah, so a lot of people may have heard about boarding, they've thought about boarding, maybe their children have come home and said one of their friends is going to boarding school. So the UK boarding school exhibition that we are arranging on the 14th of February at the Grosvenor House Hotel in Dubai, and then 2 other venues in Saudi Arabia, is a great starting point for a family that's just inquisitive, would like to ask some questions, would like to find out more about it. There's no commitment to anything. So I think that's what's really special about visiting the exhibition. There may be families that have actually already decided, definitely, for for GCSEs or for sixth form. We want our child to go to boarding school. So it's an opportunity to talk to over 20 schools, a variety of schools, girls only, boys only, independent colleges, and locations across the UK. So from the southwest to Scotland, to just come along, ask your questions. A lot of them have also got summer schools. That's another good stepping stone to boarding education, or to get an experience over the summer holiday. They bring the children, they talk to the representatives, and they can talk to us to find out more information.
How long does the process take to enroll into the boarding school? So basically, what's the process like?
So they will contact us. They'll either come to the exhibition, or they will, often it's word of mouth. A friend says, I've used this Anderson education, I'm considering about boarding. So they get in touch with us. And then we go through stages to find out more about the child, their academic ability, and that information.
So share more details about the upcoming exhibition that will be taking place. Where will it be? From what time to what time?
Okay, so it is actually our 30th UK boarding school exhibition in Dubai. We have got over 20 leading schools representatives are going to be with us at the Grosvenor House on Saturday, the 14th of February from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We have got a link through our website, andersoneducation.co.uk, to register, and then families will get a QR code so that it's quite seamless when they arrive. They don't need to make appointments with schools. They can talk to our education consultants if they want help and advice. It's just a great opportunity to come and to talk to as many schools as they can, pick up information. They can come and talk to us, then they can discuss it as a family. They can get in contact afterwards with any questions. So it's a free entry. You can collect a copy of our UK school directory. Also, one thing I would say to families, to prepare themselves for coming to the exhibition, think about their child's academic ability, because some schools are academically selective. Think about their strengths and interests and their personality, whether they would be suited to a small, nurturing environment, or actually they like a larger, more competitive environment. Think about location, the different types of schools. We'd also say don't focus on league tables. You can get other documents from the school, a destination of leavers, a breakdown of nationalities. So there's a huge amount of information, but that's a first one-stop place to start your research, and we're bringing the schools to you.
So February 14 from 11 a.m. to which time again?
4 p.m.
Till 4 p.m. So guys, go to the exhibition, inquire all the questions that you guys have. And with me right here is a specialist herself.
It's fantastic. It's exciting, and it's very rewarding when you're able to help a family that didn't know about the service, didn't know the benefits of a boarding education, and then they come back to us to say thank you, and explain how it has benefited their child and their family as a whole.
Sarah, if there's parents that are watching us right now and they have 1 foot in and 1 foot outside the door, if you were to tell them to go 100% in having their kids in a boarding school, what would you tell these parents watching us right now?
I think find out about it. I also think actually the visit is so important. I mean, we're talking about schools that are rich in history and tradition. Research has shown that the environment that a child learns in has a profound impact on their engagement and stays with them for a long time. And I think you can't put it into words, but if you go and visit a school, there's something, it's intangible, but you get that feeling. It's the people that you meet. It's being shown around by a child the same age as yours, maybe, who is totally enthusiastic about their school environment and about how exciting the day is. So I think those passions, the locations, the buildings, some of these schools are actually in very unique locations, and they make the most of those locations. So whether it's a school in the north of Scotland that's got its own fire service. It's next to the water and it's got water sports, or it's near Brecon Beacon and it's doing things outdoor, really making the most of those. But the visit is really important. It comes to life when you walk into these schools.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. It was an absolute pleasure to have you with us today on the GN show and share such, inspiring stories behind Anderson education. But before we end the show, what do you believe is the reason of success?
I think they're quite unique. I think they offer a very unique opportunity. I think also at this stage, you also have to congratulate parents that actually then decide, because it's quite an investment, and there will be times where they're quite daunted. But you speak to any, there's a large alumni of ex-boarders living and working in the Middle East. You speak to any of those to find out how those opportunities, and when they're there now, they're networking. They've got this whole group of ex-school alumni to get together with. Just speak to any boarders to see how that helped them with the direction of their future, the opportunities that it gave them.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah. Hopefully, I'll get to meet you at the exhibition.
Yes, yeah.
February 14th. We'll definitely pass by. Yes. It was a pleasure having you with us today on the GNTALKS podcast show. And as we mentioned and said, it is the first remotely done episode. But hopefully, we get a chance to see you face to face and potentially also ask you a couple of questions live down there at the exhibition. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. It was my pleasure to meet you and to hear a lot of details about Anderson education. I believe this will be the end of our show. We'll definitely pass by to the exhibition to meet you, as I said, and take a couple of clips to also add onto the GNTALKS episode. Well, guys, this was the end of today's episode. Stay tuned to another well-established business in the UAE and globally. Take care.